Uh, let's see, we had a couple questions at the beginning while I was setting up, and I want to just sort of recap those because it's always fun to do questions as a gang because maybe somebody else has the same question or didn't even realize that they had that question. So let me put a couple of things up here. One was, well, I guess there are two different concepts that we were talking about. The first was how do you say, I like to do something? And so the basic answer is ach. And so we're going to continue to realize that languages just work differently, right? Like in Tlingit, you're just going to have to do away with the idea of saying, hey, I like your shirt, I like your cup. Because in Tlingit, you maybe could say that's a nice cup. Or wow, that's really cool, right? Or something more along those lines. Because to like something is ach tuwasagu. And so it gets really kind of interesting because how would you differentiate between I like dry fish and I want dry fish? And so and it's kind of a subtle difference, I guess. It'd just be sort of context. But we usually, if we're talking about liking something, maybe in Tlingit we didn't actually talk about liking things a whole lot, right? And so there's other things you could say as well. You could say, dry fish is delicious to me. But if you say, I want to verb, like I want to do this, I want to do that, the basic sort of structure is you're going to get, I want verby, right? So you're going to put like some sort of thing. And so like ach tuasagu, and then you're going to have some kind of verb, and then you're going to have I on it. For example, everybody say, chacha, chacha, chacha. I am eating it, right? So ach tuasagu. So this would now become, let me try. So there's chacha, I am eating it. So ach tuasagu. Ach tuasagu chachayi.
Tuasigu Chachai.
Ach tuasagu chachayi.
Tuasigu Chachai.
So let's say we're in Hawaii and everyone's like, oh, look at the cute seal. And I might say, ach tuasagu chachayi. And they get mad at me. Well, maybe I'm just teasing them. But it's, I want to eat it. Like there is a, not like I just want to eat. That would be a little bit different. And we're going to have to get into those details. But like, so another example, you could say, Neil, oops. So this one would translate to I went home. Nechtechwagud. Nechtechwagud. So then, how would you think to say I want to go home?
Nechtechwagudi.
Nechtechwagudi.
Except without the
ugudi. So then you'd say ach tuasagu nechtechwagudi. Ach tuasagu nechtechwagudi. And then this is sort of a basic way to start tying a couple things together, right? And so same thing. So we know yak a, and so that's it's good. He or she is good. And then we can say ich sitin, I see you, and then we can combine them and get yak e ich sitini. So this is a basic sort of thing of how do you combine two things. So if you said, I want to say I like to sew, you could say ach tuwasuku katakisi, or so we could look up sewing. Um, I guess a katakisi, it should be katakisi. So we'll go down in our root list and we'll look up sew, which is here. And then again, there's going to be two ways to say this. So are we talking about sewing the thing? Like someone might say, hey, look at these moccasin pieces. And you say, I want to sew them. Then that would be different than I just want to go sew, or I'd like to sew. And then so you would use this one for just sewing, not sewing a particular thing, but just the act of sewing. And then daqis is going to be the imperfective form of that. It's sort of like it's something that's going on right now. And what we're going to learn how to do is how to say, I am sewing. So daqis would be she or he. And if I am sewing, khadaqis. So the kha goes in front of there. So what you're going to end up with is, ach tuwasiku khadaqisi. Right? So ach tuwasiku khadaqisi. So we're going to see that go up and then down, because like that, the Tlingit rule for suffixes is if they're open, they're opposite of the tone that's before it. Okay, so it's a little bit of an advanced concept, but we're going to start just tying things together. It's good to see you. It's good you went there. It's good that you gave that to them. It's good that you cooked this for me. There's all kinds of things that could be good. And you could throw gunchish in front of those and it's going to work the same way. People in Teslin especially have noticed, like to say, gunchish ichsatini. So then that gunchish is just acting like a verb. And so this is how you tie two verbs together. It's verb A, that verb B is basically the kind of pattern that you're making. The second thing was, how would I say blank is a blank, right? And so the first thing is figuring out what the thing is, right? And it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, right? Someone could be, you could say some really bad things. Right? We'll say good things, because we'll just get into that practice, or maybe a neutral thing. So Ku'atlatuwu is a teacher. Depends on where you're from. If you're from Cake or Teslin, you might say Ku'atlatiwu. But if you're from other places, you might say Ku'atlatuwu. And so this is a profession. It's a thing to be. And so the pattern for this is to say he or she is. You're going to have basically the noun followed by the suffix, and then sati, he or she is. Right? So now you'll say, so how would I apply that to being a teacher? How would I say she is a teacher?
City.
Yes, ku'atlatuwuchsati, right? Ku'atlatuwuchsati. So we're becoming very proficient at reading tone and vowel length, right? So it's going to go up, and then we hear it come back down. We can also say he is Hawaiian. How would we say that? And we'll just say Hawaiian. I'm not going to,
Hawaiian city.
Hawaiian sati, right? Hawaiian sati. And this pattern will apply to all shukach adich sati, kagwantan sati, kix adich sati, right? And so that's the pattern to say somebody is something. That's a profession, nationality, some sort of category, like he's a mean person. You could say that, right? You could say Tashlikhani Sati. And so there's all kinds of things. So this would also be just to say, really, it just kind of translates to say they're a member of that group, whatever that group is. That's a clan, that's a nation, it's an ethnicity, it's a profession, it's a behavior sort of group, like I don't know, an alcoholic. It could be all kinds of different things. And then we put the sati on there. And that's to say that someone is that thing. Kajin kajakuch sati. So that's an artist. And then you can also sort of, you can specify, oh, did I spell it right? Specify. Okay. And you can also specify who we're talking about. So you could say, Kajin kajakuch sati ach ish. Right? And so that's where that could come in. Is usually it's, especially, we're doing this little kind of talking about ourselves and our family type of stuff. That's where you put that thing. So you could say, Kagwantan sati ach ish. You could say there's all kinds of stuff. There could be any asqaywuch sati akhlaq. My sister, as a male, is a seine fisher, right? And so this is the pattern, right? So we learn these patterns, and we just remember which kind of thing goes where, right? And you could say ach ish awah asqaywuch sati. That's totally fine. It's totally fine. You just got to remember, whatever the noun plus the thing is, that's going to come right before that sati verb. Okay.
So you could put Achish, Hawaiian city.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions that we might be able to untangle?
I have for what I was going to say, probably like every couple sentences, I have a question.
Okay.
So I guess my overall question is when we're done, can we get feedback? Like, not that takes the whole class, but I mean, if we turn it into you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you could always send me stuff, and then I'll give you some feedback. If you don't get it in like a day or two, just send me a little reminder. Sometimes I lose track of emails sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the plan today is we're all going to sort of say who we are, and we can do that however we want. It could be, I'm not going to apply any sort of template to it or any sort of expectations. We're just going to share some things about ourselves. And this allows us to just sort of get to know each other just a little bit more. And then I'd like to do some weather stuff and to start talking about location and direction and Tlingit. It's sort of this next thing on the intermediate sort of schedule is where is it at and where is it going, or kind of how is it being there. And there's a number of different concepts in Tlingit that we'll work through, and we're going to rely on some place names to sort of look at that, because place names show us a whole bunch of stuff in regards to how this stuff works. So those are the three things that I wanted to do. Any preference on what we do first? I get a pick? Okay. Well, let's share who we are. And so this is just a chance to get to know each other a little bit more. What we're going to do with some of this information, some folks might have to go on Thursday. They had something come up. And so what I would like us to do is next week on Thursday, I'll be out of town. So what I would like to do is for this coming Thursday, for us, those in the room, we're going to partner up with somebody who's online, and you guys are going to come up with a little dialogue exercise. And so instead of having class next Thursday, we're going to give you guys just a little project. And your project is just to make a short dialogue exercise that you'll share with us 2 weeks from today. Is today Tuesday?
So by next Thursday, you mean this Thursday?
Not 2 days from now.
Okay.
9 days from now, we will not have class. But you guys will instead work on a dialogue exercise with a partner who's in the atmosphere, in the Tlingit atmosphere, out on Ichtideyi, on the Medicine Person's Road. And then you're going to just make a dialogue. It doesn't have to be super long. It doesn't have to be super complex. You can totally just find phrases, and there's lots in beginning. I would prefer that you just didn't take something from, like, there's these dialogues in beginning Tlingit, which are great, and we're going to work on some of those. But just because if you went into the Tlingit phrase book, which I'll show you, if you don't have that, you could go under tlingitlanguage.com under resources, print and web, and you scroll down and it is here, Tlingit Chenachsa. And this is what it looks like. And it's got lots of stuff. So it's organized basically by greetings and departures, some commands, compliments, dating and schmoozing, months, seasons, days, times, introducing oneself, living and staying in places, health and medical, feelings, cooking, eating, talking about food, kinship, reporting news, ceremonial situation, coming and going. And then it gets into these sort of other things that are a little bit more complicated towards the end. But it's a wonderful resource. I really don't mind if you just grab things out of there. That's really fine. If you want to try and sort of try a few new things out, that's totally fine. And we're just gonna enjoy it. That's all we're gonna do. And so it might require a little bit of back and forth, sort of scenario building, perhaps. And we've tried to do quite a few of these through different sort of classes and language gatherings, and sometimes we'll create like a scenario, like, hey, let's just say you're calling to say a new baby was born, or you're calling to say I won at bingo, and so I guess my preference is to try and keep it sort of a positive dialogue, just, I don't know if we want to get into the heavy hardcore stuff yet, you could, but I think it's funner if it's fun. That's my experience, and we can certainly talk about how to talk about some of the bad news and delivering bad news and stuff like that. But let's deal with that at a later time. Any questions regarding any of that stuff?
So we're not gonna have class, we don't come here, we find out who our remote partner is and call them.
Yes. And so Thursday we'll come here. Totally, 2 days from now we'll all be gathering together online and in the class. But the week after that, no class.
Thursday.
Yeah. So class this Thursday, class the Tuesday after that, but no class on that Thursday. Okay, sheesh. What's that?
What if we weren't going to be here anyway? You just call the person.
Yeah, and you could just do it through email.
Email.
And so what we'll do is we'll pick partners, and then we'll just sort of make sure that we all have a way to contact each other. I'll finally make this email list I've been talking about forever. I'm very slow at.
Will you email the email? I have a family commitment this Thursday, so
Oh, okay.
maybe if someone would pick me from
Okay. Well, I think I'll probably just sort of I'll just have a random process of assigning folks on Thursday. That way we don't have to deal with like who's getting drafted or anything like that. Who's going to be your starting small forward and all that. Okay. So let's do the introduction part, or just talking about yourself. Let's just call it that. I want to try and shift us away from thinking of formal introductions, and instead we're sharing a few things about ourselves, which should include your name, and the rest is totally up to you, what else you want to share. And there's no appropriate length, there's no template for this. I just said that this would be neat if we started. And I think what we'll start to do is on the Thursdays, maybe I'll just sort of give you something to say, hey, on Tuesday, why don't we all share this kind of thing? Why don't we all try this kind of thing? That way, when we come into classes on Tuesdays, we all have a chance to sort of share something we spent the weekend working on. And at this level, they're kind of more basic sort of things, but eventually they'll work up to some more sort of conversational type of things. And we'll just keep working on that. And my hope is you'll find more and more of where the blank spots are, and we can fill those blank spots. Say, okay, here's some resources that'll help put these types of things together, these types of things together. So yeah, it sounds like some folks will be traveling on Thursday. So I'll make sure that I'll do the work to get you paired up, and then I'll share the list of who's in the class. If I've got your Tlingit name or your English name or anything incorrect, just let me know, and I'll fix it. But I'll make sure that is distributed Thursday so you guys have it. You have ways to contact each other, and then you could set up however you want to work through the process. It shouldn't require any stressing out. It should just be something kind of fun, a chance to engage in something and to make something. Whenever we start getting into, intermediate Tlingit, I really like the idea of producing things, short videos, and we're not asking for like the highest quality of anything that's out there, but it's just neat because it's our chance to take the language into some new spaces, or they might be new for us as an individual learner. They might be new for all of us. Like there's been a lot of work on how to play basketball on Tlingit, and if and I remember we'd do immersion activities, and it's like, hey, let's all just go do sewing. Hey, let's all cut fish. We did not know how to talk about those things. So we'll use these as exercises too, to go figure out how to talk about some of those things. Going to pick berries, going to gather medicines, going to, cleaning a fish, gutting cleaning up a seal, all these different things. There's a different verb for gutting a fish, there's a different verb for skinning a seal, and there's a different verb for skinning a deer. But I think the deer one would also apply to moose and mountain. So it's basically the sea mammal versus the land mammal. But there's a different verb for it, so it's pretty cool. Okay. Anybody want to go first?
Barbara Craver, you chat duasak, Shigun tu, Yana 8, you chat. Try to say in school.
Oh, Shkun Yi.
Shigun Yi, Yana 8, you chat. 1976, Santa Kahini Huadlitsu. Waik Kuhziti. Aneohe Oahu Ke Uawut. Kajin Kajagu City. Kaya Kakash Heat. Huch Kakakain Kakusiat. Audigan Achtuwu Sigu.
Okay. Goodness, sheesh. Kecha.
Could the camera be on?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I don't know why it's on my face. Silly.
And can we see the other people?
Yeah, I don't know who has cameras. I'll try and put them on there, though.
Yana 8.
Okay. Now let me make a note.
I'll go.
Okay, let me mute our side. Good.
Mike? Can I go?
Good day.
Okay. Eska aya hunag e yati. Tlingit yuk atangi ku atla tuwuch chatsiti skunk. Tlingit yuk atangis stu chat tu su. Tleg si akjiwu. Katsawa yedu asak. Lake Ka Enach Sai Amy Louise. Colorado Yayati. Askewuch Ka Chat Astechik City Achuch. Sachanga Yedu Asak. Look na Chedich City. Plak Yagi Achuni Ka Achkedli in at Nachaguch. Wanganins Tank Ka Yai to a team. Yeah, oh, who's up?
Yak echawe gunners cheese.
There's cheese.
Det qua dusa. Good.
Ach tuasigu ye chosatini. Jock yuchatuasa kuad led shawat chatsati. Ayachat. Ach geek ye chatyati. New Jersey kochzati. Kochzati. Dachadushujin kat kadech tak. Ach yitke yejene ach yitke yejene kashuk
Oh.
city.
Yes.
Cheese.
Yak echawe gunners cheese. Okay. You det qua dusa. Okay.
Ach chun is aya call you do us off homework ye chadjit or ye yeti homework ye. Claire Helgeson ye chat do us off. Schoon ye Christian you chat do us off. Seattle ye chat yeti. Ach ish we tai ka e chich city. Ach klar chadjin kajagach city. Ach ik agach agachwalch we gao leka keinach jazz.
Oh, okay.
Ach klar ye nanich kleth unachle jin kadach dushu tak shuaki. Ach ish ye nanich nask tak shuaki. Kleth unachle dach tak. At she ha in ach kusti Kurt Cobain we at she ye kunach ach tuasaka.
Okay. Yar Christi gwash. Okay. Cheese. Det qua dusa. Good.
Hooks a hu yuchat duasach, lek a chenach bob yuchat duasach, wasdan Juan ayahat zantik Hinich, Ye Chat Yati, Boston Awe Chat Kudziti, Ach Blach Kudziti, Catherine Uduasak, Tlingit Shtu Hashtu, Achtua Sigu Plak Ask, Tsu Achtua Sigu Chat Katlech, Kua Achtua Ushgu Nik. Gunashish ach et yisa ach e.
Yake chawe. Ganachish. Yake. Yeshqa dusa.
Tlingit kenach gutun yuchat duasak. Tleitcha kenach Juanita yuchat duasak. Chinka ayachat Filipina ka yukwan ayachatsu. Kawantan nachat city. Guchit. Nach ayachat. Kiksadi ka yukwan yadi ayachat. Kaklach yufduasak ach ish hat kanach kwan city. Kach nu kwan ayachat.
Ganachish same. Yake chawe. Yake.
Zante Kihinik Kuchziti Kwa Tlak Kwandach Chakna Chatsati Kadakloedi Higushi Hit Dach Ach Ish Nishka A Shlachluks Sati Gingol Dach Ach Sani Has Laskik Ahe Gabi Kabazi Yedusagan Ach Sani Ach Atat Zuzkwan Sati Ach Kla Ish Gika Yedusagan Kagwantan Sati Muchit Dach Ach Kla Ish Du Ish Kutsua Yedusagan Kluka Khadi Sati Yandustaki Dach Ach Khana Kastach Ish Yeduasak Kluknach Adidach Sati Kayashi Hit Dach Ach Si Jutin Yuduasak Kunach Tulian Ach Ki Jaguni Qaida Ka Ganuku Ka Shkatauta Yuduasak Ach Shat Kutin Ka Kaske Yuduasak Shayi Yedusagan Ach Kik Atunach Ach Kla Ach Ish Ka Klish Kuhas Ka Ach Taknuku Khatsiti Achawe Kasanak Yuchat Uasak Ach Kla Yuchat Uasak Yaduchat
Ah, yake chawe. Ganachish. Trish. Yake cha.
Céis túsláán Yuchat Duasak, Tlingit Gainach, Kagwan Chatsiti, Kechat Uwawat, Santa Kehinich, Ach Tuusigu Charakesi, ka achtuwu sigu karatuwu nachshish.
Sheesh. Kecha. Kecha.
I just came from the dentist about 2 hours ago. My tongue feels like a balloon. I will try it without like any blood.
Oh,
Oh, Ishan.
Sheesh.
Um, Kathleen Harmon. Oh, wait. Kathleen Louise, Yuchat Duasalk. Ach ish du kla du keek. Kathleen Louise, ye duasalken tu. E klawuk, Yuchat duasalk, shekek enach. Ach kla du sha. E klawuk, you duasalken tu. Ach kog, George Obert, ye duasalken. Ye Yahwaka. Ik handed talk. E klawuk. Ja Hitch, Shus Letuwu, English Enach. Ja Yagi, Tse Klewuk, Ja Hitch, Shus Letu, Tlinket Enach. So I don't know if I structured those sentences right.
Okay. Kecha. Sheesh.
Ach Tuasiku Sa Iki.
Oh.
Klech Llech ach tuw ushgu sak ik. Sheesh.
Kecha. Goodness, sheesh. Okay. Zayich zu akot lebihin yakutan owe ye owe kuwat gwash cajun na ya ach katagu ya achunch in ash kaututle at ash kaututle yet aka owe chakati wasai ya ach llil hiti aya kakwe du hiti de aya choshich yeah, we say atakuk hey de shu watan wech ahat alsatin yeah ye gukatlein atuye ti ye wechwaji anjas kahini atjoe akache kaduchit anjas kahini ye awe adata ya akhwalqain kal asakh wasatin kal gukatina khatyati just we gukatlein adache kakwatana ye awe adache kakhwatich ye awe khwadana was dachun de hin awe khwanud aqa awe khwasaku tal anjas kahini awe sa echi awe atuye uti achawe was chaye kukenki wan qanis tlach tuash kutsa echi yidat qach tuas was wegao adach aqa Kecha o katagu o ade keshach tuash guan with sa echi. To recap, I like hooligan oil. I also like seal oil, but maybe I like hooligan a little bit more because when I was about 5 years old, it was really hot and I was playing outside with my brother, my older brother, and this was in Skagway. and I was really hot, so I came inside to get something to drink. I was at my grandma's house, and I opened the refrigerator, and I saw this big jug of orange juice. And I thought it was orange juice because it said orange juice. So I looked around, and there was nobody there. So I thought, I don't need a cup. I'll just drink it right out of the jug. And so I took about 4 big drinks when I realized it was seal oil. And that I just didn't have a taste for seal oil for about 15 years after that. Because I just wasn't, I was fine with seal oil, but I just wasn't ready for the, 4 big gulps when I was kind of overheating. But if you get cold and you eat seal oil, like, you won't get cold. That's something, it'll help you to stay really warm. I brought it to Hawaii, and it had some of the cracklings in it, and not all of them liked it, but a lot of them, they did. There are fish people there, but it was a bit much for some of them. Yeah, okay. Well, let's look online. Great job, everybody. This is exactly what we're supposed to do. I'll probably make a few notes, but the feedback I give is pretty incremental unless you really ask for it, because I just want to keep things rolling. And then if you can just trust the process, there's certain things that I'll notice that we'll incorporate later, but probably not immediately, because it kind of tends to make people feel like they messed up. When I want to sort of, not worried about messing up, we're just worried about, hey, you said something and we understood it. That's amazing. That's incredible that you can put stuff together and just communicate. So that's our focus, is just communicating stuff, and we'll just keep fine-tuning some things. But we have online Kleinach, Dachnach, Naskinach, Kejininach, Kleidushinach, Dachadushinach, Naskadushinach, Gushukanach, Jinkatnach. Maybe 10 people still need to go. So let's gook. And I notice you can put your hand up on this. I haven't seen that. So whoever has their hand up, that's great job finding the hand raising button. Maybe you want to share the magic with all of us. I'm sure that's an option, but I didn't know it was an option. It's great. So I'll try to keep my eye out for the hands up. You can also enter into the chat, or you can just say chat ayah. Oh, you've seen. Yakecha we goodness cheesh. Okay, go eat choha.
Devji ka Genevieve ka duasak. Yes ka Beksha Patsiki. Deng Tang Kagwan Tanyadi Kanaha Hitach Kuna Kau Ayakat. Achuk Georish Yuduasak. Chukunedi ka Jog Usitin was not too sure that's how to say he was. Anyway, Say Dushutak Una Kasne Aktu Sekun Ka Tlingit Skun Kwa Ruding Eshke in Granchish.
Goodness cheesh. Tlachunach uke. Goodness cheesh ha'in kainiki idat. Yakecha. Yidetcha adisa dituasagu. Oh, go satuk.
Satukaya, New York City, Yay Hatsati Yaidat Hat Shawahik De Keek Kashka Uduasak Ka Kafiat Uduasak Seek Shkik Ye Duasak Ku at Tlatuwu City. Yeet Yes Yadi Hefwasaku he is a cook. Tlingit Kanach Chat wasigu kuk saach. Hucha. Gunachish.
Yak echa way. Got New York City dachayak etain satua ach ekach klein. Ade kakwakuch kwash January
Oh,
awak disi. January. I'm heading there in January, so it'll be fun. Okay. I'll have to see if there's a word out there for cook. If there isn't, I would probably say atwadutsa iyiqa. So atwadutsa iyiqach sati achit. My son is a cook. Yek gunish cheesh. Oh, chwasatin. Yidet nach kinde ayahas juletsu. The hands are going up now. Itqoha.
Yake yichsatini, Tlingit krenach yacht, yuchat duasak, Washington Kwan krenach, Peter Stanton, yuchat duasak, Dlekaka, Washington Kwan, ayahat, Georgia kudziti, Kichan kudziti, achish, Kichan kwandach ayahat, ku at latuach hatsiti, Tlingit tuchal ach tuasigu chatua, Freya yuchat duasak ach dushe, gunas chish a kate yisa achi.
Achik echa gunas cheesh. Dana ya sautua achi. Echa. Yidet qa disa du tuasigu. Gwell ceidir lletw, gwell just gŵc de yw chytan. Tra asa. Yke.
Bill ja aksai Kushlayk Salchanes Yuhat USA Uduasagan Skahadi Oregank Kukstadi Ida Gua Takin Yechat Yati Nazka Katlek Tlach Ak Katagu Heshnak Hatsati Late Ka Yadi Ayhat Kada Hek Aktuasigu Ka Atheak Su Hoots Gunashi
How, gunas cheesh ha way. Yke aya isachwa achi. Yke. Yidet qa disa du tuasigu. Gwell yi satin chak away we kuyaw dahayi. Ferris Bueller stay off. We kwa tlatu ye waka. Cha asa. So in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, there's a teacher who'd say, anybody. So I have to say, cha asa. But it's like a 90s movie, I guess. Who wants to go next? A good day.
Tlingit Einach Yaktushi Yuchatuasak Tlek Lisa Einach Yuchatuasak Gooch Nachatsiti Kitchan Kuchwudziti Hit Tleindach Ayachat Sanya Khan Yadi Ayachat let's see. Kukuk Kayand in Zinch Kleinach Tuasigu Kunach. Exercise couldn't find a word for exercise. So exercise Tuasigu Achiat Kintin. Achit Mikey, you Hatuasak, Duki Guru Grayson Noah, you do a sock. Hooch away. Jeesh.
Yak echa. Gunnel cheese. Yak eya esachwa achi. Aqa'awe kukwashi we. Exercise. Kada it. It'd be something like kada it ke nashti nika or something. Making the body strong. I'll try and figure that one out too. You okay? Yudetka dusa aite. Who wants to go next? Kleinach, dachnach, naskinach, dachuninach, dachuninach away. We got 4 more by my count. Then we gotta take our break, so. Gukde tleshatoashku hakanachi we shuchu. That's not. I'll translate that some other day. Okay, well, in that case, maybe we will take our break. If you haven't gone yet, just think about it. We can always do it later. When we come back, I'll have a few just thoughts after hearing a couple of things, and they're not corrections, they're just things to think about. And then we'll probably do a few sort of location direction things because they're pretty fun. Then we'll shift back to the weather chapter, and then we'll that'll be today. So there's a term for introducing yourself, and it's basically so you'd say like you do a sock, but then you'd say how did she say it? She said that's a gunash chish ha'in. I'll have to figure out how I would say that. Shidisa, you told us what your name is basically what you're saying. So, anyways, it's basically saying, I call myself. Saying, tell us what you call yourself. So, hitwasa. We'll take 10 minutes and we'll see if anybody else wants to take their turn, and then we'll move on to the next thing. No worries. Michish. Jinkat wenitz kanach gachtulsta. Yanha awune. Any I saw someone else seen Shawati Tkoha Gwata. Giwane. Oh, like Anya Nachtla, Cook.
Anyanach Tla Aya Achsayi Ach Tla at Rhode Island Kwan City Ach Ish at Shirka Kwan City Shirkak Ye Khatyati Ya at Nasqueni Khat Aya Kawuch Yach Ya de Tuch Ach Tuasagu Bek Jak Hook Khwatla Acht Dli Tlas Kwacha Kaakayani Chach Ait Like cock einach vegetarian chat aya ganashtish.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Goodness cheese. You care what to see. Oh, Cook.
Yek satini khat iya achka. Khataya. Khwantlain you khat do a sock. Kakit a segu shawat. Ach ku ich saye. Kich kwantach aya. Chak nach khatsati. Dleitka yadi katiatan yadi aya khat. Ach tla you do a sock. Shanugatla. Ka achlik. You do a sock na yisk. Ka ach tla tlik. You do a sock. Klutu hesh. Ach tla ish. You do a sock. Jaki ish. Ach tla ish. Alsech be sati. Tlingit stu chaltu. Chuskugenk. Kuatlatu Hatsati, Achuch Hatsichan Atseetu, Hasachan Tu, Kunach. Shikan. Now. Dewe, got a chish. Which way?
Hatsu now Hashikan. Tua Ushka Achta Ye Ti. Gunners Chish. Yakahawe Hosatin Kajitsu Kochiati Gook.
Gouchiadi yuchat duasak, Gleitka Einach Trevenscan yuchat duasak, Gouch nachat city, Kagwantan chat city, Gau hit ye duasak ha nakahidi, Takwanadi yadi yayachat, Kichkhan ye chat yati, Kichkhan ye chat kodziti, Gunash chish.
Chish. Yakaha Gunners Chish. Ye de cook he ha cook.
Sakikan ye duasak achsik, Shikak aya ye chatyati, Ku atlatu chatsiti, Kaslangat at ku atlatu tsu, Kudchayanaha kaslagau achtuasigu. Sak ye kanach achtuasigu, Tlal achtua ushkudlate, Yayidat chatsewa at, Ishan chat.
Like Game of Thrones a kakaway Katiwaka talk yakonehe. Yeah. Yake Gunners Chish. Sukka. Huchaka. Oh, cook. Shakudzi Shawati Koha.
Wasayati Shikuzi Shawat, Yachat to a sock, Jekha Hana, Tiffany Pickerel, Yachat to a sock, Yesh Lachat Sati, Shika Kwandach Yachat, Shika Yechat Kudziti. I said that completely wrong. Kichkanich Yechat Yati at Chasai. Suye Chasatin.
Yake away a cook. Yeah, away. Guk Shakudzi. Aya. Yakeha. Huchaka. Sukka. Johan. So we'll do more of these. I think it's great to transition into opportunities for everybody to share. After this, it probably won't often be so personal, like who are you, what are you about type of stuff, but we'll just sort of start finding other things that we can start talking about. And then this is a great opportunity to sort of have a chance to dive into the resources, whether those resources are fluent speakers, the books, the lists, the things that are out there. So I'm really happy that you guys are sharing this information, that we're getting to know each other, because we're on this journey. Yakikdawich Yak away. Whoosh with this cool. We're all in the canoe. So it's good to know each other, right? Like, who's that stranger paddling over there, right? Okay, goodness geez. So I made some notes of just a few things, and so we'll bring some of those things up Thursday. We'll also start going through the lists that you guys have turned in or sent in. If you haven't done that yet, please do. And then as we go through, we'll also see if we need to make any adjustments on anything, if anything's helpful. And then we'll look at, we're still a ways off but it's getting down to like a month. You got about a month to sort of go through that. But we'll say them out loud here, so at least you have a chance to just to hear it and to say it, and also to maybe figure out if we need to change anything up just to help you out. So that's sort of the plan. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit. Let me move a couple windows around. So let's spend some time thinking about where things are at and where things are going, and how Tlingit tends to deal with these concepts. For the first one, we've already done some of this stuff. So if you put your hands close to you, you could say, yeah.
Yeah.
And then over there is we.
Where?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We.
Where?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We.
Where?
And then way over there is you.
You.
You. And that's kind of a slightly mysterious one. He. He. So what this illustration is showing, like here's the speaker, and these ones are always just relevant to the speaker, right? So when I say yeah, I'm saying this right here. I can just grab it. Or it's, nearby as far as time goes. And then when I say we, it's kind of over there, right? So we sao. Sao is this guy right here who we like to put in hot water and consume. And then he, it could mean about 3 different things from what I could tell. It's closer to me than it is to you, but I can't just immediately grab it. That's kind of concept number 1. Concept number 2, it's right behind me somewhere. And concept number 3 is it's certainly nearby, but we're not exactly sure. Like the little mouse who's scurrying in the ceiling or something. So, and then dasahe, when people say that, it's kind of like there's some unusual kind of unknown thing. So we know we can combine these with dasa. Dasaya, what is this? Dasawe, what is that? Dasayu, what is that way over there? And dasahe, what is this? Kind of somewhat unknown area, kind of a thing. So this is concept number 1, right? So we've already seen how this applies to certain things, because then we say aya, awe, ayu, ahe. And we'll see those used, right? And then awe is by far the most common one. And it also has this use in just speech. It's a pretty good type of a thing. Right? So the other thing that we want to do as we start doing more language performance is just ditch the because that's English. So we could say, oh, what? Ooh, now I just sounded like really Tlingit, right? Or I say, how? Or I could, there's just little things you can do to just sort of, and what we found is that awe has some pretty logical functions. Like it could mean, I would like to talk. Awe, right? So in English, sometimes when you want to talk, you do this little thing, or you take a breath. There's certain things you do to signal that you would like a turn to talk. Right? It's not always just raising your hand. It's just sometimes verbal and sometimes nonverbal things that you do. And this awe is one of them. It also could mean, I'm still talking, right? Just let me gather my thoughts here for a second. And so sometimes you just need a little pause. And we've also found that it creates these pauses in a sentence to just say, we're talking about this thing, and now we're going to talk about this other thing. And so it has lots of different functions. We see it attaches to all kinds of stuff too. When you say, let me put these examples up here. So you could say, Ye'owa.
Yeah, away.
Ye'owa.
Ye-owe.
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 And how would I translate ye-owe?
Right?
That's right.
I'd probably lean a little bit towards that's the way it is. And so, I remember online there was this big debate that we're changing the language because we're saying that's the way it is instead of that's correct. And I was like, are we really going to have an argument about like that's the way it is and that's correct? I was like, I don't think that's really changing the language, right? Some people were really upset. But they're very similar concepts, right? And so the way that we understand kind of, and when we sort of teach what the thing is, we're not trying to argue with anybody or say they're wrong. We're just saying, oh yeah, they're so similar, right? Because if I'm saying something and you said, that's how it is, and you said, that's correct, those aren't very different things that you're saying. But this other one, when we say, ayachaweh,
Ayachaweh.
ayachaweh,
Ayachaweh.
ayachaweh,
Ayachaweh.
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 That one means that is correct. And there's a couple ways we know this. Because if I were to put a verb on the end of this, I would say ye'aweh chosaku. And that the way I would translate that is how I know it. Right? Like that's how I learned it, that's how it was told to me. But if I said ayachaweh chosaku, and I better be right because that means I know it correctly. But you'll hear sometimes some of the old people, or if you put it, you could say tesh ayachaweh, and that means it's incorrect, right? So you could put a tesh in front of it. So we know that one is more like, but they're such similar concepts, right? This is not about right or wrong. This is just about shades of meaning and use. You're likely to hear ye'aweh. And as far as how do we use the Tlingit language, if somebody's up there saying something in Tlingit, especially if they're your clan opposite, and you really agree with what they're saying, you could say ye'aweh, and you could just say it. Right? I know in English, it's it'd be kind of awkward maybe if someone's giving a speech and like, that's how it is, right? And just like yell it at them, But in Tlingit, that's a very cultural thing to do. Or they'll say, ayachaweh, that's correct.
People say amen in church.
Yeah, see, it's a very similar thing, right? It's just like saying amen in church, right? And so, and you can also put other things. So like day away, that's a different thing. So how would we translate day away?
No, that's enough.
Enough or knock it off. Right? It's probably a little bit because, but those are also similar things. And so this is one you don't want to say when somebody's giving you a speech, right? Unless you want the war, like it's wartime. Game of Thrones. But then to kids, and so this is also when we get into these commands, you could say this stuff to your younger siblings. Right? In the right context, absolutely. If you needed to correct their behavior, you could say it to your kids, you could say it to lots of people too, and in the right context too. Like maybe someone's feeling really bad and they're talking bad about themselves or something, you can say, "Day away." Like knock it off. But then, maybe you'll follow it up with something kind of positive or whatever. And that's a little different than this one. How do we okay, let's say hooch away.
Hooch away.
Hooch away.
Hooch away.
Hooch away.
Hooch away.
How do we translate that one?
That's all gone.
Yeah, that's it. It's all gone, right? Like took a napkin and you wanted a napkin. Hooch away. Like that was the last napkin, right? And then in the context of oratory, if I'm telling you a story, and then he decided to go fight that sea lion, hooch away, like he's dead, right? And so a lot of times it would mean like he is also gone, right? And so you'll hear, and then if you look at certain storytellers, they'll just say hooch, and that it's done. And it doesn't, and sometimes it just means that part of the story is done, but this is what you could say, it has run out. There's no more of that thing. That's kind of what this one, and so they're so similar, but they're good to just sort of talk through. But that's how the awe has so many different uses, right? And so this is just sort of illustrating that. Any questions on all those aways? Okay. So now let's look at two other concepts. These are pretty big sort of concepts. So we've got one in relation to the speaker. Ya, we, he, you. And there's another one, I guess, that we talked about a little bit, which is ha. And it's a different ha than like our. It means in this area that we share. So this is why you say ha gu. And this is why you might say ha de. And this is why you say gunachish ha yigudi. And there's these words ha da dushi, which means the cat around us, but that's like a mountain lion. Ha da kuchi, or I guess a tiger. So that one is ha. And so we'll see that sometimes, right? And then we understand it's related to the ya. So you got ya, we, he, you, ha. But that's all dealing with one individual, the speaker. It's always relative to where the speaker is. I couldn't call you on the phone and say, it's good that you came, it's good that you went there. And I couldn't say, like I would have to be in that space that you just arrived to. That's how that one works. So there's a second set, which is more sort of universal. There's these fixed locations in the Tlingit universe. And the most important one is where the ocean meets the shore, what we call niche. So niche, like for the Tlingit consciousness in the sense of space, you can be away from the ocean and you're inland. From there, you can go towards the ocean, and once you get to the ocean, you can go from the shore out to sea. When you're out to sea, you can go from the sea to the shore, and once you're at the shore, you go from the ocean up to the inland, right? And so everything's related to where that ocean is, like these fixed sort of points. And these ones, they get a little bit slippery because there's a couple of them where it depends on where you're at. So for example, if you're on the beach, you could say niche. But if you're away from the beach, you'd say iq or eq to refer to where the beach is. Similarly, if you're inside of a building or a room, you say neish, right? And that, it doesn't mean, there's a different neish that means home. This one means inside of a building. That's when somebody knocks, kuch, 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 you say neish guh, come into the building. But if you're outside of the building, you shouldn't say neish guh. You'd say hit ye guh. So hit ye would be inside of the building, and I am using that because I am outside of the building. So there's a couple of them. The one that you use depends on where you are. But it's really like the beach and in a building. So the beach and the home. But those two places, it's just a little kind of different. So we're going to go over, and we've got lists of those ones, and there's some main ones. And you'll probably recognize quite a few of them. The third sense of space is how two objects relate to each other. On, around, about, under, all of that kind of stuff. And so those ones are pretty similar to English. We just remember that it comes after instead of before. So for example, I would say on the table. But in Tlingit, I'd say Nadak ka, table on. So the first one is we don't need the article. The second one is the word order. It's just flipped, right? I don't like to say backwards. That assumes that something is forwards. I just say different. Right? The other thing is that there's a couple of them that are pretty unique. Well, it just shows how Tlingit things. Like where the ocean is really important. So you can be behind something, you could be behind something away from the ocean, and then you could be in front of something, and you could be in front of something down by the ocean. So what that tells you is we built our houses on the beach, right near just up from the shoreline. And then we could refer to where things were located based on the ocean. That ocean is always, even for inland Tlingit people, this still applies. Niche is not around the lake. I don't care how big the lake is. The only niche is where the salt water is. And so these are just things to just think about. Right? And then I think the way to look at them is to just sort of just start looking at some examples. How are these things used? And then you'll start to recognize them in other places. So we're going to rely on a little helper. So our little helper is named Kanashak.
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 If you live in the interior, his name is Kashak. The na part just vanishes. Same thing. Then the second part, Nadak.
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 So our little friend here is going to show us a few of these things. Like these are some of the real common ones. And then we'll see like there's list building activities. You got to fill your Bentwood boxes. And one of these boxes, there's also, I think learning Tlingit, it's like, what type of thing is this? Okay, how many different things are there at this type of thing? And this is how I like to sort of just think about Tlingit, because it helps me to sort of visualize how to build these things up and to kind of remember them. So the first thing is we're going to focus on where Kanaltsak is in relation to Nadak, right? So he's the one who moves, so that makes sense. So the first one, Nadak Shukat we Kanaltsak.
Nadak Shukat we Kanashak.
Nadak Shukat we Kanaltsak.
Nadak Shukat we Kanashak.
Nadak Shukat we Kanaltsak.
Nadak Shukat we Kanashak.
So there's two parts we're looking at here. So when we look at these types of things, there's one that I like to call it a relational base, because it's talking about a relationship, and it's a base because you can put a suffix onto it. So not only is it in front, but it has arrived there. That's what the T is doing, right? So when you say shukat, it made it there, right? And that T can go on to different types of things. So you could say hit it, you could say hit. I wanted to put a vowel in there. Hit. You could say two T's in a row. You could say necht. You could add this T to things to say it's on there. For example, nadak ka, nadak cut. There's that T. You're going to see that T popping up. And that usually means it has arrived at that thing, right? And then we want to look at shuka, because that is a very powerful word in Tlingit. On its own, it means in front of or ahead of, right? And so there's different ways that this can be used. So I could say, here's a boat, here's cheech. Yak shukat awe we cheech. That porpoise is in front of the boat. And I could use that same shuka to say it's swimming in front of the boat and thing, but it's just saying the boat's going this way and here's the front of it. That's where it's located. You can also use it to talk about time. I could say, ach shukat yachicha. You finished your food before I did. So it could be used in time senses like that. It can also be used, some of the old people will say, he wants to walk ahead of us. That's a metaphor. And what that means is, what do you think that means?
Disrespectful?
Yeah, he thinks he's better than us, right? And so this is, I was listening to my great-grandfather speak, and he was talking, and he would switch mostly in Tlingit. Every now and then he'd throw some English in there, and he'd say, some people want to get ahead of us. And that's what he's talking about, is this concept here. But there are people who are ahead of us. And then in Tesla, they call elders Hashuka Ahas, the ones who are ahead of us. When we say Hashuka, we're usually talking about our ancestors. So it's a very dynamic term, Shuka. But in this case, it just means that little squirrel is in front of the table. Okay. Where else might it go? Nidok take we kanalsak.
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 So take would be behind something. And you could say a. That K is just kind of, it could be there, it doesn't have to be there, right? And so there's some other concepts like ta yatenach means in secret. So like behind the people is really how you could probably, behind their faces maybe. There's a verb, wute, which might be related, which means to find something. So, like once you start getting into these, you're really getting into the logic of the language, right? But in this case, take is behind, right?
You use the T if you just ran behind the table.
Eight. Like you could say, Nadauk eight uwashich. He ran behind there, and I know he has made it. Right? And you can also say a day. He's running to go behind there, but he hasn't gotten there yet. Okay. Okay. Where else are you gonna go? Nadauk katwe kanalsak.
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 And he's a kanalsak or she, whatever. Right? And so, but none of these have verbs. If there are verbs, then that T might have to change. And the other thing is, if it's a moving, living thing, if you were asking a speaker, they might want to put a verb in there. He's sitting on the table, he's standing on the table, something like that. But we're using these pretty simple little versions. Nadauk tayi we kanalsak.
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 So we had a shukut, we had a take, a cut, a tayi. So the other thing with these words, you see that they've got that long dash before it. That means there has to be a noun there. And the placeholder noun in Tlingit is which means it's, like the possessed form. So on it, below it, around it. And so you'll see that Tlingit, it'll use a lot, right? And so once we established that it was a table, like, oh, this squirrel came in, this kanaltzak came in, And first he went under the table, then he went onto the table, then he went around. The first time we would probably use nadak cut, and then we'd just say ada, atayi. It would just switch to after that. This is a very common thing for Tlingit. Same with, you'd say, somebody did this thing. And then once we talk, we would name them, yesh. But then we would just start using the he or she, third person pronoun, pretty much the whole way through. That's how Tlingit typically does things. Nadak dot hun we kanalsak.
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 So here's nadak, here's kanalsak, dot, like so. He arrived around it, somewhere near it. What do you think the hun is doing? Standing, right? So in this case, we introduced a verb, right? But he's just standing there. If he was moving, it'll get a little more complicated. But there's that hun, right? And so hun would mean she or he is standing there. It's got to be a person or an animal. It couldn't be like the building or anything like that. It would have to be a living thing. Nadakte ya nagutwe kanatsak.
Nadakte ya nagutwe kanatsak.
Nadakte.
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 Nadakte ya nagut.
Nadakte ya nagut.
Nadakte ya nagut.
Nadakte ya nagut.
Nadakte ya nagutwe kanatsak.
Nadakte ya nagutwe kanatsak.
So this one, we didn't do one of those bases. Now we're just using a suffix. So the suffix de is towards. Nadakte, hitde, hayakajitde, guchade. Now we could start going towards anything. But the same thing, if there's nothing, you can't just say de, you have to say de. Right? And so now we learned that the relational suffix in Tlingit that we use to show possession, one of the rules we learned is that it's opposite of the tone before it. So we say nadak de, hit de, but we would say ne de. So it's the same principle. Every open suffix in Tlingit will usually be the opposite of the tone before it. So this is the same thing. De is going to be, that's how it's going to work, right? So these are just some things that we'll pay attention to. Once we put that de or the I or the U on there, or the W or the Y, it's going to be opposite. Sa yi, ke tle, ki di, right? Same thing. Okay, so now he went there, then he's going to take off. Nadak dach ya nagutwe kanatsak.
Nadak dach ya nagutwe kanatsak.
Nadak dach ya nagutwe kanatsak.
Nadak ya nagutwe kanatsak.
Nadak dach ya nagutwe kanatsak.
Nadak dach ya nagutwe kanatsak.
So now we have dach. Right? So dach is from, and it includes time, right? From that time. So you might see some speakers who'll say, Yadach chatzati yidach, from the time I was a young man, right? But there's one thing to notice about here. So when we went nadak de, But now we go nadakdach. So the closed suffixes in Tlingit are always high. It doesn't matter what's before it, right? Nadakdach, hitdach, sadach, right? It'll always stay high. So these are, in beginning Tlingit, we spend time looking at tone because we start to realize what the patterns are in intermediate Tlingit, right? Going low, high, low, and then sometimes just always being high, right?
What does closed mean again?
It means it ends with a consonant. Open means it ends with a vowel. And those are just, in different languages, like in Hawaiian, you can't have words that are closed. Right? That's why Bill becomes pila. And beer becomes, what is beer?
Primo.
Huh?
Primo.
It's giwa in Tlingit, but it's, pia. Pia, I think pia. I can't. Is it in Hawaiian, pia?
Yeah. Is there a syllable open in Hawaiian? I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always ends with.
Yeah, it always has to be open.
It's a syllabary, I think.
Well,
Not strictly.
yeah, but that's different than a
Right.
open syllable.
Yeah.
What E?
Because is like, let's say, aloha Alice. So the is there. It's connecting to.
Yeah, but it's not, it doesn't, you don't have two different consonants together inside of a word. That would mean a syllable.
Oh.
Every syllable in a word, every word.
Yes, I think everything has to have a vowel. Yeah.
Whereas Tlingit can just have a lot of consonants.
Yeah, you can have quktik, which has 3 in a row, right?
No problem.
And you can have only vowels in Hawaiian.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And in Hawaiian, vowels run together, whereas in Tlingit they don't, except right before a verb. Sometimes they'll do that. So they'll say, kashahit would be he or she is writing it, kashahit. But you might say, yak'e'awa adekshahitiya. So ade kashahiti becomes adekshahiti. So it causes that ka to close up. Okay.
But closed, it's obvious if you think about it. Consonants close your mouth. They close the airstream. The air coming out. So it's actually a transparent term in linguistics.
Oh, right, makes sense. Right?
Yeah, how about that?
And we're going to find there's certain things like verbs, especially when those verb roots are open, sometimes they will get closed and then they'll change. But we'll deal with that one later. Let's just keep talking about this little. Okay. Nadak dach ya nagut wikanalak.
Nadak dach ya kana gutwe kana.
Nadak dach.
Nadak dach.
Nadak dach.
Nadak dach.
Ya nagut.
Nagut.
Wikanalak.
Wikanalak.
Nadak dach ya nagut wikanalak.
Nadak dach ya nagut wikanalak.
So there's these, now we're starting to spy some of these suffixes. De, towards, ti, arriving at, dach, from. And then we get which means moving around at, coming to it repeatedly, or like it just keeps going to that place, right? So this would be like, and so for Tlingit, we got to think not only where is it, but kind of how is it being there in terms of its motion. And so you'll see that Tlingit is always sort of just trying to categorize these different things. And you'll see these pop up. So if someone keeps coming to the same place, there's ways that you would mark it. If they're just sort of roaming around, just running around there, then you might use this one. And so these are just some things that we'll start seeing how they combine. And then the next step is sort of starting to see them in these kind of larger contexts. So we talked about independent base means it doesn't need a noun to belong to. Niche, we know where that is. Ik or ek, we know where that is. Neish, we know where that is. But there's other ones, so that's the independent, which means it doesn't need to belong to anything. Relational means it has to belong to something, right? And the same thing is in English, right? Hey, you see my keys? Yeah, they're on. Right? You gotta have something there. On the what, right? Well, on the table, right? And so you can say on it, you can say it, but there has to be a thing. So that's what the relational part says. When it says base, that just means you could put a suffix on there. A noun, you cannot. There are certain ones that we'll use for direction where you can't put the suffix on there, right? And then and we'll see more of these words as you go into the new Tlingit dictionary. You'll see that it has these parts of speech in there. So there are parts of speech. I know we talked about this before, like, man, I haven't done like adjectives in a long time. And we'll just sort of see, this is what they are, this is what they do, this is how you use them. Because this is how your speech gets more dynamic in the Tlingit language. So again, open or closed. If it's open, it's the opposite tone of what's right before it. So we're going to go low, high, or high, low. But if it's closed, it'll always be high. Okay? So we'll kind of wrap it up with this little thing. So I made this illustration first with nouns. Right? So we'll just name some of these things. Just so that we can sort of, they're just more words, more fun words to learn, right? So the sky. Chat,
Hot,
chat,
hot,
chat,
hot,
chat.
hot.
And tu is how you would be in the sky, which is kind of fun. And then there's these clouds. Goose,
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 goose.
goose.
Cannot forget that
Finch.
apostrophe, or else you've got a female body part. This person flying up here, there's actually several ways to say it, but the most common way is Kaitlati.
Kaitladi,
Kaitlati.
Kaitladi,
Kaitlati.
Kaitladi,
Kaitlati.
Kaitladi.
That is the bigger seagull. It's not the little terns. It's not the little kittiwakes. That is a seagull. The sky, shining in the sky. Kakan.
Kakan,
Kakan.
kakan,
Kakan.
kakan,
Kakan.
kakan.
The sun ray that shines, usually through the clouds. Kakan chusi.
Kakan, yi,
Kakan chusi.
kakan, kusi.
And that literally means below the foot of the sun, which is really cool. Because a sun ray, like a beam of light, like if we're as a sort of a foggy morning, the sun is shining through some trees and you see that beam of light, that's kakan chus, the foot of the sun. And kakan chus yi would be when it shines through the clouds. And if there's a cat laying in the patch of the, or me, or whoever, right, laying in that patch of sunlight, that's kakan chus ite, the sun's footprint. So it's very cool. And then to extend the metaphor even farther, when you break it, you use the verb for breaking a rope. Because for Tlingit, there's these verbs for carrying things, breaking things, where it depends on what type of thing it is. It'll start to change. That guy over there? Shah.
Shah,
Shah.
shah,
Yai.
yai,
Yai.
yai,
Each.
each,
Each.
each.
So this is an important word in Tlingit as being coastal people, is each is a reef or a big rock that the tide can go up and down on. So the sea lions are on, and so each is either a reef or a large rock in the water. And not like it's got to be huge, right? Like big enough for things to live on. Then the beach itself, if you're down there, niche.
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 I guess we'll probably have to stop here. So we're pushing quite a few concepts in, and just these sort of spatial relations is the area that we're in right now. So on Thursday, we'll kind of do some more of this. We'll walk through some of the other things that are there. And the idea is just to show you that there are lists of these things. And then you'll start to see them more and you'll start to recognize them. And this is just another, as we start with beginning Tlingit, we're really learning nouns and we're learning phrases. It's kind of the basics of what we're doing. Then we start to mess around with verbs a little bit. Once we get into intermediate, we're like, oh yeah, there's these other things too. We'll pull the curtain back, right? And then you'll see, like, these are some of those things, right? Okay. Yake, kunashish.
When, when was your